Hello and welcome to English 0365 Week 5. Before we actually start with the material this week, I just want to review the course layout and some files, and some of the files I want you to check. So the PowerPoints from the book, the study help, review and summaries from outliers, and the quiz. So I'm going to go one by one showing you those real quick. So this is what your page looks like when you open the Lessons tab. I want to remind you that the PowerPoints from the book are right here. So this week you can look at chapter 4 and make sure that you look at this PowerPoint as you're studying the chapter, not at the end. That will help you a lot better because the chapter is directly related to the book, but it makes you do the exercises as you go. The other thing that I want you to make sure that you check is the study help. Here I have the answers for the chapter. So if last week you did 6 mastery tests, all the answers are there. Make sure that you review your answers, and I normally put those answers at the end of the week. So these are the answers for last week. Then we go back. And the other thing that I'd like you to make sure that you review is the summary of outliers. So again, I have for last week the summary for chapter 2, and then also some sample answers from students. This is from some of you or from my other class, to give you an idea so that you kind of have a summary from the book that is well written. This summary was written by a group of English teachers who had the task of making all the materials for this book. So it's a really good summary, and it will give you a good idea if you were not completely sure what the chapter was or you missed something. Go back and review this summary. I'm just going to click on it and I put it right there so you don't have to open anything, a synopsis and so on. And you can compare this to what your ideas of the chapter were. So I feel that is a really good tool. There is one here that I have review and summaries from 10 steps, and I decided that's there, but I haven't really added anything after chapter 1 because I think if you go to the review from the book, you get the same idea. Okay, then when we click on week 5, so these are all the things we have to do for this week. Everything is the same, of course. Let me see if there's anything different. This week we're going to be studying implied main ideas, and we're going to talk about it in a minute. But other than that, I think everything is the same. The only other thing I wanted to remind you, this is from last week, quiz number 1. Some of you have done it, some of you haven't. The ones who have so far, you're doing pretty well. Make sure that when you finish the quiz, take a couple days and go back, not just to check your final result, but also click on the quiz. And I have written some notes next to some of the answers that may not be correct, not all the answers, but so make sure that you read my notes so you know why maybe something is not what you thought it was. Just want to talk a minute about the implied main ideas. Now this is really an important point because many times authors don't say right there what they're trying to talk about, but they give you some tasks and some facts, and from the facts you are able to determine what they're trying to say, and that's what implied means, that it's not stated right in front of you, but you have to figure it out. So pause this for a minute and look at the cartoon on page 143. Okay, and there's two people talking. I guess they're having lunch, and one lady says to the other, Kenny hasn't spoken to me in 2 months. He won't return my calls, and he's been seeing one of my friends. Do you think I should break up with him? Well, what is implied? Right, he already broke up with her a long time ago, whether she recognizes this or not, right? So implied is, forget it, lady, he's not here anymore. And how do I figure that out? Well, all the things that she's saying. He hasn't spoken in 2 months, he won't return the calls, and he's even seeing somebody else. Now, the only thing that you have to be careful is that sometimes there's stated facts and maybe the implication is not what you thought. So if you base your implication on facts, you will probably be on the right track. We're going to check out the PowerPoint and study a couple of, just one of the examples, but I would encourage you to look at the rest. And I'm not talking about the PowerPoint from the book. This is a separate PowerPoint that I'm going to show you here. So if we go to implied main idea examples, we're going to launch it in a second. Open it. And there it is. So I have a bunch of slides here that have different text, and also they give you the explanations. So I would really advise you to look at this carefully, because implied main idea is something that is not so easy. So let's look at the first one together. There are 5 paragraphs. We're just going to read the first one together. So scientists who work with domestic turkeys are concerned. A new disease has been identified that is responsible for the deaths of sick and healthy turkeys. The disease is called round heart syndrome. It expands the heart of turkeys to 4 times the normal size. This causes the turkeys to die of cardiac arrest. It is not unusual for healthy turkeys to die as well. When they see a turkey that has died, some turkeys become so panicked that they go into convulsions. This often leads to their idea to their dying of heart attack too. So what are scientists worried about? That a lot of turkeys are dying, right? Is that what you said? Okay, so they're worried about the health of domestic turkeys, or they're worried that maybe there's a new disease that's responsible for the death of sick and healthy turkeys. Since this sentence is already stated for you, you simply have to figure out what scientists are worried about. So your answer must focus on turkeys and their health. Alright, so this one is pretty straightforward, but of course there's others that are not as simple. So I'm just going to ask you to click on the next ones. And here this is a separate one, and answers and explanations. So each one has a separate paragraph, and then with possible answers and explanations. If you have any question about implied main ideas, make sure to ask me. The next thing I want to remind you is about the Townsend Press. This is where you do your online tests. Most of you are doing them on time. Remember that now they're due every Wednesday, not at the end of the week, not on Sunday, because this will help you to practice what we've been studying for that particular week. And you are doing pretty well. Remember that you have to do all the tests, and then I'm just going to take an average. But that's definitely good practice. Okay, and then the next thing I want to remind you is a presentation that's going on campus this week. And let me show you the flyer for that. This is a presentation called Conversations Beyond the Book. It's going to be on campus in Casa 110, October 8th, which is Tuesday at 7 p.m. And it's going to be conducted by Dr. Stefan Klinneberg, Professor of Sociology and Co-Director of the Institute of Urban Research at Rice University. The title of the presentation is The Houston Area Survey, Is Houston an Outlier? Should be a really interesting discussion. And if you go to this presentation, you will get 10 bonus points. I'm going to be there as well, so I will see you, or you just say hi to me. And also, please make sure to send me an email telling me that you attended. I think that this kind of opportunities where we bring outside speakers is really something that you should take advantage of. I know some of you may be busy or might be having another class at that time, but if you're not, I highly recommend it. I think it's going to be an excellent opportunity to hear a different kind of outlook about the book and what an outlier means, and if it's Houston. Do you think Houston is an outlier? Why or why not? Anyway, that should be a very interesting conversation. So I hope to see some of you there. The last thing that I want to see is I would like to get some feedback. I normally do that around week 5 or 6 just to see how you're doing. I'm going to put these questions on the discussion board, and I would like you to tell me around how many hours per week would you say that you are spending on this course. And do you feel this is right, or is it too many hours, too few hours? Are you getting enough help? How is the communication with me as the professor of this course, with other students? Are you getting the answers you need? How about the difficulty of the course? Is it too easy for you? Is it about right? Is it too difficult? There's not much I can do about the difficulty because I have to go by the learning outcomes, but at least maybe I can give you a little bit more help. So anyway, I would appreciate if you give me this feedback by Wednesday. So please go to the discussion board. Also, right here, I realized that some of you couldn't say that you had done this presentation because you need Gmail in order to enter. But if you do have Gmail and you want to write any note here that you saw the presentation and you know what to do this week, that's fine. But for this week, go to the discussion board, as I said, and answer my questions by Wednesday. The reason I'm putting it there is so that everybody can see each other's questions, and you guys are more than welcome to make comments on what everybody says. All right, well, this is all I have for today. And as always, I hope you have a great week.